What is going on, gamers? Welcome back to another prop making video where today took all of your guys' suggestions. I think over 500 votes here on this poll for well over. You guys wanted this Mask of the Mother Demon, and I knew right off the bat that it was going to be one of the more complicated ones to do, but I'm going to kind of explain the process here. And this is my first time doing like a full helmet style, prop. I have never done nothing like this before. I've known how to do it, but I've never really done it. But what we have here is we have the styrofoam head that is 21 inches in diameter around the forehead region, which all we need is really the top cap of the helmet. And what you'll see is that I am packing clay onto this mannequin head, and more or less my forehead's like diameter or all the way around is 23 inches, and this mannequin is 21. And so I keep packing on the molding clay here and do a couple measurements, and I find out that it is adding just one layer of this clay all the way around made it the 23 inches that I needed. This clay was it was quite a bit. It was one pack to do this whole head, and it was only $3 from Hobby Lobby. So yeah, you see me here checking the got that nice 23, but I had a few more pieces left, so went around the outside. And then I wrapped it in foil here, and the reason you wrap it in foil is because you need to wrap it in duct tape, and you don't want the duct tape to stick to your mold. So we got the duct tape here. Essentially, the duct tape is going to be used as a template to draw onto the foam with. But first, we gotta, like I said, get this whole thing covered in duct tape. Slowly but surely. There we go. I had just enough duct tape to do this too. I was afraid I wasn't going to have enough at all. I didn't want to make another run to the store, which I actually ended up needing to make a run to the store anyway. But yeah, we've got the, so I'm trying to draw like a center line from the nose tip to the back of the middle of the head and get us a nice center line. And more or less what we're doing here is we're kind of sectioning off pieces of this cap so that we can cut them out in a 2D form and pretty much bring them all together in a 3D. You can see I've got the little hash marks there. And pretty much what we're going to do is transfer that over to the foam, and as long as those hash marks match up when we glue everything together, everything should pull together here. Now, I did learn a lot. Like I said, this is the first helmet that I've ever done. Now I'm cutting out the pieces with the X-Acto knife, and they seem to be coming off just fine. I believe I forgot to label them, so I went back to label. I was live streaming this the whole time too, which was very interesting, and might I add, made my living room quite a mess. But yeah, we've got the top left, top right, side left, side right. So we just got it into 4 pieces. Most of the videos I've seen, I think they do a little bit more, but I was kind of afraid of the gluing process, but I learned something amazing while I was doing this, and now I feel like, if I was to do this again, it would come out like 10 times better as far as the glue goes. But you can see we transferred everything over to the foam. Now we're cutting out the foam. Definitely the whole duct tape, aluminum foil, clay on a styrofoam head trick wasn't the best thing in the world. Like, if I could find some way to cast my own head, like with plaster and silicone or something like that, that would be probably the best bet. But obviously I don't know about you, but I don't really feel like dunking my head in a bucket of freaking plaster. But here, after we got back from Ace Hardware, we got this contact adhesive called Weldwood. And essentially the way it works, you think in your brain, oh, contact adhesives, okay, so I put it on one side, put it on the other side, stick the 2 sides together and they stick. Well, yes, but no at the same time. So you have to put it on both points of attachment where you're going to want to attach the thing at, and you have to let it sit and dry for like 5 to 10 minutes. And then when you come back and you stick the pieces together, they literally lock together and do not come apart. But now at this part, we're doodling out the sketch for the mask. I wanted to get it symmetrical, so I came up with the idea to do kind of a mirror transfer with a graphite pencil. I just did half of it here, folded it over, smooshed it down and unfolded it, and we had our nice little mirrored mask going on here. So we get the fangs going on the mask, start drawing all the crazy amounts of eye holes everywhere. I did have a reference photo up on my monitor that I was kind of basing everything off of, so kind of went off that. There was a lot of bits in this that I wasn't recording on accident because I did not realize that I wasn't. But yeah, we did eventually transfer. Yeah, see, we kind of missed the whole part where I cut that out of foam, but we transferred it over to the foam and cut it all out. Now you can see we're working on about to glue the top piece of the helmet together. And I promise you, it does turn out looking a lot better than it looks right now. But like I said, this is a learning process, and I just figured out the whole trick with the glue. So now you can see that once we start piecing it together, like, it sticks and it does not come apart at all. It is solid. You can't even pull it apart. It's pretty insane. It pretty much makes it one piece. Now, here you can see I was putting it on my head to see how it fits, and it actually fits super snug. But I wasn't super excited about how snug it was, so I was trying to come up with a way to make it just a little bit wider here. And what I ended up deciding to do, I was just kind of trimming up some of the weird excess left over from, the whole duct tape and aluminum foil thing. Oh yeah, and here I grabbed the sanding bit and I start rounding all the edges, because I'm pretty much waiting for the glue to dry that we just pieced together on the other part. So I'm kind of bouncing back and forth between parts of the project here. But yeah, just rounding off all the edges on the mask. And yeah, it's pretty hard to do with this sanding bit on the Dremel. It's kind of large, but some of the other like hard stone bits that I have in that little kit there just didn't really take away the foam the way I wanted it to. So this like 60 grit sandpaper bit's the only thing that really seemed to work, but it's kind of a bigger drum. I might have to try and see if I can find some smaller sanding bits for the Dremel tool. I'm sure they make them, but yeah, I went through and rounded off all the edges. After this point, it like really started to look super, super sick. I loved all the beveled edges and everything. Made a huge freaking mess. That stuff gets all over the place. All right, so now we're drawing out the kind of the wood grain and some of the scars and distressing and stuff that's on there. So yeah, we just kind of go through here with it's like a spherical Dremel head, like stone bit. Just kind of carving out some like bark lines and stuff. I want to make it look almost like wood. If you look at the the Mask of the Mother Demon, it does look like it's kind of made out of like birch wood painted white almost. So yeah, we got that all sorted out and had to show the stream. They were super excited too. And it looks like the helmet finally solidified totally, so it's all nice and dry. Looks like I ran off and took a break here. We were also watching all those crazy tornadoes happen on the screen in freaking Nebraska as they were going down, man. It's just unreal amount of bad weather yesterday. It was supposed to be that way today as well, but alright, so at this point I'm trying to make the bottom of the cap flat because I kind of have to make that like samurai coif. And yeah, it proved to be difficult, but before I did that I wanted to make the helmet a little bit more wide. So against everything I wanted to do, I decided to kind of cut a triangle side out of each side of this thing to make it just a little bit more wider. And trust me, when I did this part I was a little nervous because I'm like 6 hours in at this point and working on this thing. And yeah, that cut right there was a little bit nerve-wracking, but we ended up cutting it and made it to where, a nice little triangle piece would fit in there, and it helped widen it up just a little bit. That's all I really wanted, was just a little bit, because it fit, but it fit like nice at like literally the perfect size of my head. So yeah, we cut that out. I got some little stencils made up out of paper here and transferred that to the foam. And we cut the foam out and more or less glued both sides of the triangles. I ended up like attaching them to the pencils because I didn't really know like where to set them at to set and dry up for like 10 minutes. Also, you see that respirator there, man, that glue is, I had to get that respirator with that glue because that glue is insane. Highly recommend if you're going to use that stuff to definitely get a respirator of some kind. But yeah, you see I put my little triangles on a stick here, and I painted up to both sides with glue, set it aside, let it dry for a little bit. Same thing with this piece, and then also with the main helmet part as well. Try to keep those little parts separated so they didn't dry together, was kind of tough. But yeah, smashed the triangles in there, was happy with the way it turned out. Actually turned out pretty good. But there will definitely be a part 2 of this video because like I said, I spent 10 hours on this thing yesterday, and I have put, we plasti dipped the mask here, which you can see me doing now. And since then I've put like 10 coats of paint on the mask itself, and it's finally starting to get to the point where it looks pretty good. But if you guys like these videos, man, keep showing the support, hitting the like button, subscribing, and turning the notification bell on, because I sure like making them. And I'm glad that you guys appreciate my little crafting skills here. You guys be safe, take it easy, and I will see you on part 2 once it's done. Hopefully it should be done.